38% of them say that they feel sort of isolated. They're not able to find friends. They know about, they anticipate, they know they're going to Michigan where it's cold, but they don't really know the nitty gritty of it. They don't do the research that they need to do in order to move out here smoothly and enjoy their visit. And they go way, way too quickly. Okay, so this video is all about the top regrets that people have when they move to the West Michigan area, when they move to Grand Rapids, when they're moving to areas out here in West Michigan that they typically heard about, don't know what they're getting into. I'm about to give you a really good heads up. So get ready for the video. It's coming up right now. For things to do and sights to see, this is Live Great TV, and I am the official host of Living Great Grand Rapids and the West Michigan area. I am downtown today going for a walk. It's gorgeous out, so I figured I'd get the camera out, chat with you, talk with you, let you know what's happening, why a lot of people are regretting moving out to the West Michigan area. There's some things that you may need a heads up on before you get out here. Walking down Monroe area here, just a gorgeous day. There's a lot to love about Grand Rapids. Everything's close. A lot of people talk about proximity. People talk about the breweries. People talk about the furniture city, the job opportunities, the friendly people. There's a lot going on for the city. And so if you're making your way out, you've never been here before, I'm your guy. I'm gonna give you a heads up. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Some people don't like that I do that, and I don't really care because I just tell the truth based on my own experience. Now, this is not to deter you or to convince you to do anything in respect to real estate or whatever you're doing. I'm a licensed real estate agent in the state of Michigan, and I've helped a ton of families move out here. So if you're in a place where you wanna work with someone who has a track record, can tell you like it is, show you what to do, what not to do based on your lifestyle, you can count on me to do that for you. So my number, my email, I'll put them on the screen right now so you have access to that. So with that being said, I want to talk about why people regret moving out to West Michigan, Grand Rapids, and the like, just so you have a heads up. Number one is going to be the hidden costs and fees. Now, I talk about this in some of my other videos. One being that the hidden costs of taxes, property taxes, in the West Michigan area, they're sort of up and down in certain areas. They're sort of higher in some areas, lower in others. And that's all gonna have to do with the municipality. That's all gonna have to do with the school districts and things like that. So depending on where you move, you're gonna see higher taxes. Places like East Grand Rapids, Forest Hills, those are gonna be higher areas that you're gonna pay taxes in that a lot of people don't necessarily want to deal with as they're making their way out to West Michigan. Another reason that hidden costs that people don't really think about is going to be the insurance. Your automobile insurance and your car insurance and things like that, they're typically 40% higher than the rest of the United States. So if you're getting insurance, you just got to have a heads up that it's going to be higher than probably where you live at. I've had clients who we've closed and I've told them ahead of time and they were like, wow, you are 100% right about us paying more in insurance in this area. And that's going to be a really big reason that you want to have in your back pocket or ready to go, as far as knowing that you're going to pay more in insurance, but there's things to offset that, so that way you're not spending money in other areas that you actually spend more in other cities and other states. So keep that in mind. Another reason is a lot of people are getting ready for right now is going to be winter heating, like the winter heat bill. Some heat bills will be in the 300 to 500 range, depending on how big your house is, how much you're using it. But it gets cold here in Michigan in the winter time, so your heat's cranked. Some people love the heat high on 75 and 80 degrees to stay really warm in their house. So that's another big reason your heating bill is going to be higher. It does get hot in the summertime. Summer, good thing summer doesn't last that long, but at the same time you end up cranking the AC in the summertime, so you're using both, whereas in maybe places like Florida or Texas, you're just cranking the AC all the time. So keep that in mind as our winter heating bill comes around, and you're gonna have to pay higher prices in the wintertime. One more reason as far as the hidden costs that people have in West Michigan that a lot of other places don't have necessarily is going to be your Michigan basement repair costs. If you're repairing the basement, you don't want your basement to be leaky. You don't want any issues with mold or water or mildew. There's some areas that have a higher water table that you need to protect your home. You need to have good gutters. You need to keep water away from your house. And that's just something to keep in mind as you're coming out here. So that way you're well protected. You can save money and and be able to enjoy your basement. Because I have people who come from Florida and they're like, man, you guys have basements out here? And I'm like, yes. And they do come with their pluses and minuses. You can store a lot of stuff. You can use them for recreational things and whatever you want to do. But there's also the flaw of having to just maintain them. All right, now the next regret, number 2, is going to be these people picked the wrong neighborhood. I've had people move all over the United States, come to Grand Rapids. They call me from the channel and they have an idea of where they want to move based on their lifestyle. I do my best to just shoot them straight and tell them what they can expect and when they can expect it there. And so another thing with them moving is, like, let's just say Easttown, for example. Easttown looks great on photos and Instagram, and you might see it all over the place when you're looking up Grand Rapids. But in reality, Easttown, it stinks for parking. Like, parking's horrible there. A lot of people rent in that area. Some people don't like that necessarily. And typically with the rent, it's usually higher. You're $2,400 a month in an apartment or in some areas just because it's so many people want to be there. So if looking in that area, that's just something that we would have a conversation about that I could give you a heads up on. So that way you don't think one thing and it's something completely different when you get here. That's a really big deal, especially if you're conscious of how much you're spending and where you want to be at. Another place is Heritage Hill. Heritage Hill is one of those places where you get the heat bill because the houses in those areas are so big and they take up a lot of space. You got to heat those big houses. When your $500 a month bill comes in, you're like, I love the house, bills coming in. Geez, I wasn't planning on that. And so that's another big thing to keep in mind. Another area that I'll talk about is, I talked about in one of my last videos, is Wyoming. Wyoming has a few different school systems. It actually has a lot of different school districts within that city. So if you're moving to Wyoming, you don't even know what school district you want to be in. So that's the type of thing that we have the conversation about. So that way you're well prepared. And statistics show that 62% of people who moved to the Grand Rapids area actually wish that they would have picked and chose a more walkable neighborhood. There's a lot of walkable neighborhoods out here, and if you don't pick the right one that's walkable, that corresponds with your lifestyle, you're going to be one of those people who are regretting it as well. So a big tip for moving to the area: go there at 7 in the morning, go there at 5 in the afternoon. Either walk around or visit the summertime, wintertime. I know in Easttown, a lot of people who are in that area, they don't like how much they plow or don't plow. There's a lot of homes in the area that don't have driveways. And, you got to make sure that the things as far as your lifestyle, I'll talk about lifestyle in your everyday life, you want to keep in mind as you're moving to these new areas. So that way you're comfortable, at least okay with the way that the house is set up and your lifestyle is set up, and you can feel really good about it. Number 3 is going to be the weather. The weather in Michigan is another thing that a lot of people they know about, they anticipate, they know they're going to Michigan where it's cold, but they don't really know the nitty gritty of it. So November through March is a lot of gray skies. It's nice and sunny out today, beautiful out. It's getting to be fall, so you see like the trees are changing colors, so it looks really pretty here in the fall. It's my favorite season. But November through March, you get a lot of gray skies and you get cabin fever. You want to do something, just not that nice out. And statistics show that on average, we have 175 days of gray skies. So keep that in mind as you're coming out to Michigan. When the sun comes out, everybody's out. As you can see behind me, there's people walking. Yeah, people boxing Muppets over there. You got people on the park walking around as I'm downtown. So people really enjoy when the weather's nice, because we do get a lot of gray skies. And in the winter time, it's important to know that we do get quite a bit of snow. On average, we get about 94 inches of snow throughout the winter months. But on a day like today, as nice as it is, like I was saying, it's beautiful out today. So knowing that we get these really nice summer days, it can still be really hot here. Get people who move from maybe Florida. And, you know, I've talked to them after they moved here and I go, how you like your summer? And they're just like, man, it does get hot here. I really enjoy it. I didn't think it got this hot. So that's kind of a cool thing to know that, you know, you're still going to be able to enjoy your summer. And let me tell you, no one does summer like Michigan people do, because of those 175 days, when the sun changes, when the weather changes, man, we're out. We're wearing shorts, we're wearing t-shirts, and it's like 60 degrees out. So keep that in mind. Is you see somebody in 50-degree, 40-degree weather with shorts on, they're probably a Michigander who's been here forever. So that's a really cool thing. Now, I've put together a PDF guide to show you exactly what those specifics are. So if you're interested in moving to the area or just coming to visit, you're going to get a good dose of what that transition is like coming to the West Michigan area. Some things to keep in mind as you're making your way out is you're gonna need winter tires. You have to change your tires. Either you get snow tires or you get some really good all-season tires where you're able to drive without slipping and sliding everywhere. That's important to keep note of. Another thing is when it comes to clothes, you know, I had another family from Texas that moved here and they never owned a winter jacket. And so, you know, if you never owned a winter jacket before, probably need to go shopping and get one. I mean, if it's spur of the moment, go to the thrift shop, go to the mall, go somewhere and get you a winter coat. I know Meijer is one of the supermarkets here and they always have good deals on them. Walmart, go wherever you got to go, Target. But make sure you're dressed for winter. Now, that can be expensive. Some of these coats aren't cheap. So making sure that's on your mind, and that's kind of a top priority as you're coming out to Michigan. It's a really big deal. So that way you're warm. Get yourself some gloves, get yourself a car scraper, something you can scrape the car off with, because God knows we're gonna have snow on your car. A lot of people look for homes that have a garage just so they don't have to deal with that, kind of like myself. So it's a really cool thing to know that, you know, in Michigan, there's customs, there's ways that we operate. It's just a normal way of living. It's our lifestyle. So as you're making your way out, keep that in mind. Get you some snow tires, get you some gloves, get a shovel. Come on out, I'll get you your first shovel. And so that way you're enjoying your time when you're out here. And not to forget to mention that snow removal, while I'm talking about snow removal is also something to keep in mind, because you got to have someone come plow your driveway so you don't get stuck. You know, that's something that's important. Either you're going to have a shovel, you're going to have a snow blower, you're going to spend time out getting your driveway clear so you can get in and out of where you live at. There's some really good services that aren't too expensive, honestly. You know, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, someone can come and plow your driveway every so often. You're in good shape there. Almost like if someone cuts your grass, it's the same type of thing. All right, number 4 I want to talk about is going to be the culture shock. Yes, the culture shock. Michigan is not just plain vanilla bland. We actually do have a culture as far as our lifestyle. This is beer city, so we love our brew, we love our beers, we love things like camping, we love like hiking, you know, going on the river. You see a bunch of people out here fishing. We got some really good fishermen out here. They're getting ready for the salmon run now. That's something that's really important to note, is that there is a culture here in West Michigan that a lot of people don't know about. One of the things is that it's beer city, right? So beer city, that is pretty much all nightlife. That's all going out to eat, evenings and weekends. No one really talks about there is a very like religious, I'll say spiritual religious culture here in the area. 73% of people identify as Christian here. So that's also something to keep in mind. Sundays, no one does anything. In a lot of these places, it's very quiet on Sundays. I don't care where you go in West Michigan. I've even had some people get offended that other people were cutting their grass on Sunday. It's like, just shut everything off on Sunday. And everything closes at 9 p.m. typically Monday through Friday. So coming out here, if you're looking for that from a bigger city, you're looking for that well-rounded lifestyle where you're able to do stuff all the time around the clock, you're probably not going to be able to find that here. But in some ways, you know, we have some of the things that make it worth it for those weekends and things like that. You know, we kind of go all out in that type of way. So, man, it is a gorgeous day out. Wow, super nice out. Some things I do want to note is that there is something called, I always call it Michigan nice or Midwest nice. And there is this sort of undertone that I talked to some of my clients and some friends and things like that. I talked to them about it, and they've experienced it. So for example, you ever have it where somebody's just too nice, like nothing's ever wrong, and it's kind of like there's a certain feel about it that you're just like, this person's always nice, but some people know that that's not true. So I don't know, it's just a thing that Midwest is known for, is like, how are you nice all the time? It's just great to know and have a heads up on. I think that that's going to be the best way I can say that people are sometimes too polite, but at the same time, you do have a lot of genuine people here who want to get out there. I'm going to go out and say that growing up in the West Michigan area, I've noticed that a lot of people have their own social circles. They have people that they knew, they grew up with, they've always been here. And 38% of transplants or people that move out here, 38% of them say that they feel sort of isolated. They're not able to find friends. But on the contrary, you have 62% who say, you know what, I've actually made my way. I've actually had a good experience here. So the odds are more in favor that you're going to be able to create a good experience here, especially if you have your tribe or your type of people that you connect with. That's always a really good thing to know, that you have people you can talk to, get to know, and things like that, especially if you come here for a specific reason. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels like, as someone who's been here for a long time, we got the same 10 restaurants. You kind of get into your bubble. And so when you go to somewhere new or the new restaurant opens up, we still have that small town feel of like, ooh, there was a new pub that opened up. And so everybody runs to it. Like, for example, we had this place called Hot and Now. Back in the day, it was a local fast food chain that went out of business. And everybody loved Hot and Now because it was so cheap. It's not the greatest fast food. It's kind of comparable to like McDonald's, but it was the Midwest version. And they opened up a new chain, and so now everybody's ranting and raving about going to the new Hot and Now. So it's kind of that type of feel. It's like everybody jumps on it, then it just becomes normalized. And I like it because a lot of people support local businesses here. That's another huge perk. If you're a new business, a new entrepreneur, or if you're someone who's going out on a new venture, this is a place to really test it out before you go really big. And so that's something to keep in mind as you're making your way out. Regret number 5 is going to be, we rushed to move out here too soon. I have a bunch of people who I talk with from the channel and otherwise that just reach out and they want to move to the area and they're eager to do so. So they go ahead and they find a home, or they start sending me homes, and they don't do the research that they need to do in order to move out here smoothly and enjoy their visit. And they go way, way too quickly. And I'm always the one that, I always tell people, like, I have a house, I'm fine. But when it comes to you and you making this move, I want to make this experience go well for you. So with that, you're doing your research, you're watching videos like this, you're doing your due diligence. I'll put my information on the screen so you can get a hold of me. Text me, just try it. You got nothing to lose, but just have a quick conversation. You're smart for taking your time and really learning more about the area that you're getting ready to move to, because the worst thing you want to do is rush, move here and be like, man, I should have did more research on the realtor. I should have did more research on the areas. And certain realtors will call you and they really just want a sale out of you. I have a ton of people still that are just waiting. They're just like, listen, when it feels right, when the right house comes up, Vaughn, I'll call you, I'll hit you up and we can go ahead and get rolling. But until then, we're going to lay back. Interest rates are going down. There's some around in a 1/4 to 6.5 range right now. So if you're thinking of moving, you're going to get a pretty decent mortgage. It's not going to be like it was a few years ago. I don't know that we'll see that, but hopefully we will see those rates come back around again. And just know that doing your due diligence is the right way. It's the right way to go about it. You're being as cautious as you can. You don't want to be too cautious and not do anything, analysis paralysis. But you do want to make sure that you're checking around, making sure that everything feels right, it flows right. I always tell people it's about the feel, it's about the flow, and doing what's best for you and your next move. So as you're doing it, doing your due diligence, like I said, this is a great place for singles, great place for retirees, great place for couples, just knowing where your niche is. And so if you're watching this and you just are kind of in question, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. I've been here my whole life and I've visited a lot of places and I get to travel quite a bit. So I know that Michigan has something special about it. Just make sure when you're coming, your lifestyle is really on the forefront. And that's what I always lead with, making sure your lifestyle, live great, make sure your lifestyle is exactly what you envision as you come out, so that way you have something to move towards, you have a target to hit. So that's pretty much it. Those are the 5 regrets that most people have when they come out to the West Michigan area. Again, for things to do and sights to see, this is Live Great TV. I'm the official host of Living Great Grand Rapids and the West Michigan area. My name is Vaughn Greathouse. Hey, I want to see you move successfully. I want to see you move and enjoy your next chapter in life. So my number, my email is on the screen. Feel free to contact me. I got some information in the description below. I've helped a ton of people move here remotely. I've helped people move here quickly, slowly, however you feel that it's the right move to make. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. I'd love to help you as well. So that's it for this video. Until next time, we will see you on the next one. See you on the next video. Enjoy your day.